The weather is taking a turn for the colder over the next few days and into the next week. So my intended project for late fall, early winter, the clearing of this future orchard space, is now well underway. I'm starting with a bigger white ash that had a split codominant set of branches that was starting to weaken over time. And my folks had some people out to help do some tree felling work, and so they asked them to drop this tree. Just cleaned it all up so I can process the firewood on it later, and been laying up these piles of slash that'll eventually, the order of operations really is to clear in the hedgerow, open that up, and then be able to drag these tops to weave more living wall. Let me take a look at that. You can see to the north of me where that ash is taken down and where I've been processing, laying up the slash. And as we come southbound towards the southern boundary of the property, you can see the woven living wall, or living woven wall, with dead material. It's a mix. And so the intention is, instead of burning or chipping any of the tops from these things, we'll get firewood and pole wood, but the rest will be woven in to make this an incredibly strong wall. So the next thing I want to start doing is pollarding these hawthorns to promote new growth next year that I can graft pears onto. And you'll see as I cleared over the last 8 years, I left all the hawthorns so that eventually I could pollard them, get new whip growth, and then graft a pear orchard into the hedgerow. So I'm going to start clearing in here, I think, next, and take a look at that. There's almost a break in the wall right about here where the deer travel through. I'm going to go through and prune up this apple, clean it up, get it a little bit more upright, and give myself an access portal to get onto the southern side of this wall so I can drop some trees over there. I have a nice portal now that I can walk through, but also drag brush if I need to pack on the other side. So now the next order of business is the hawthorns on the southern side of this hedgerow woven back in. And again, you can see the apples to the left of me, which I'll leave. These are nice apples. And these hawthorns, which I'm going to pollard, cut them at about 5 feet, encourage new sprout growth in the spring, and then next 2 springs from now, graft pear onto that. Part of the whole idea with making this woven wall is about keeping deer out. So in this case, on the southern side, the feral side, just dropping them, letting them lay actually helps to the cause. So those hawthorns are pollarded. Now I can go on the other side. So the hawthorns in this part of the hedgerow have been lopped at about 6 feet, looking for young bud growth underneath the cuts to promote for next year. And the top's thrown pretty far over. It's going to be a really wild, tangled mess, really great for habitat, windbreak, snowcatch, and deer deflection, hopefully. So I'll go down the line. You can see this is the next group to do. And then we can move northbound where we're actually going to be pollarding the locust and dropping some of these spruce and really opening up this glade. So there's the process. About an hour and a half of cutting and tossing, and all these hawthorns are cut back. The power lines are released for the long term. The option of grafting pears in later holds, or just letting it return to a feral pollarded hedge would work just fine for the goal of deer protection as well. And so there you go. There's a bunch of pawpaws and aronias and other long-term perennial woody crops in here that I'd like to leave, and I'll probably fill in with more brambles as time goes. But now it's time to start pollarding these locusts and the spruce block in here. We're felling the spruce and moving this whole project forward now that the hedgerow is open enough to receive the tops. There's something satisfying about harvesting the first round of hopefully many poles and firewood from a tree that I planted. Has 9 growth rings as far as I can count. Looks like it has some disease or issues. We'll see what comes of that. But I planted these, I believe it was 2010. They might have been 1 year old at that point, 2 years old. And getting a pole, some firewood, and a whole bunch to weave into the wall. And hopefully if the pollard response is good and healthy, these will keep making poles throughout the rest of my life while providing nitrogen to more evolved later succession canopy plants. I'm going to pause here and grab some lunch, recharge the battery, which I'll talk about this at the end. I'm borrowing this steel battery-powered chainsaw from my wife Sasha's mother, and boy it's a little beast. Did a whole lot of work on one charge, and so I got to recharge that, then come back out, drop some more locust. You can see there's still locust overstory here, and I haven't even touched into the north of this pathway. These spruces will get dropped and woven into the tops there, into the hedgerow. I've got 3 nice posts, a little pile of firewood, and the woven wall is starting to really thicken out. I'm keeping this little opening open until I get towards the end, just in case I have an overflow of material that has to be woven on the other side. But so far so good. Really pleased with how it's opening, especially on a winter day. I can really feel how much more sun is coming in, and really barely begun. This whole block in here, almost 100% of the overstory will be cut out, so I can replace it with about 30 or 40 trees and shrubs. We'll come back. Clearing here out to the west end of this block, on the southern west end. Trying to release this woven wall down this way. Got a big pair to work on, that's for another day. But weaving in the locust tops, and I'm leaving a standard here or there. This is a really nicely formed locust with a split, but I like it, so I'm going to leave that. That ash I'll leave for now. Maybe get on a ladder and lift the crown a little higher. But so far it's starting to really open in here, especially that southeastern corner, and I haven't even taken the spruce out yet. So the next morning we had a light snow. It's kind of nice, you can see the tops where everything was cut more clearly. This represents about 8 hours of work so far. I certainly still have this entire block to get into, but I might pause for now since I've got a huge pile of wood chips to move. But this is the progress as of December 10th. Thanks for watching.